Hi there, I'm Rob Trube, author of The Simple Focus Plan, and I'll be presenting at the CEO Summit in Phoenix in March. Now before we got there, I thought I'd run through real quick some of the benefits of having a plan for your business. Now I've actually created an acronym for PLAN that really kind of defines some of the elements that are core and that you'll gain by having a simple plan. Now that acronym stands for perspective, leverage, alignment, and navigation. So what I've done is created a real quick presentation that'll run you through each of those four elements, and then what I'll do is I'll wrap up on the other side and we'll go from there. Enjoy the video.
Okay, so what we're going to cover is what you really can gain from having a plan for your business. And again, what we've done is create an acronym for PLAN using the letters of each one to really describe what you can gain from having it. So without further ado, let's get started. But first I have to say that there are a lot of reasons to have a plan for your business, but really these four are pretty critical. So we're going to run through each one of them. I'm going to go through the definition of each one and kind of give some explanation as far as how each of them is critical and why they're critical. The first one is perspective, and that's going to be the P of plan. The next one is leverage, alignment, and finally navigation. Again, we're going to cover each of those components individually. I'll give a little bit of an explanation, a quick definition, and we'll move on. So the first one is perspective, and really what perspective is it's really a way to get a better view of what your business is, what its potential is, where you want it to go. And planning is really one of the only activities that allows you to really do this. And it creates an opportunity to immediately impact your business. So by creating an opportunity to gain a better perspective on what's going on in your business, how your business fits in, you're really going to be able to better understand what needs to get done. So let's go through the definitions real fast. It's really a way of regarding situations, facts, etc., and judging their relative importance. But it's also about the proper or accurate point of view or the ability to see something objectively. So that's really why gaining perspective for your business and really utilizing a plan to gain that perspective and to maintain that perspective is critical. The next element is leverage, and really when it comes to leverage, what we're talking about is that every business leader has the same three categories of assets that they can leverage in the process of doing business. And those assets are knowledge, resources, and network. Now, when it comes to knowledge, really what we're talking about is the skills, education, experience, and as a primary elements. But knowledge also applies really to make the ability, or to have the ability to make the necessary correlations and identification of opportunities, as well as the identification of danger and what could harm your business. Resources, we're talking about physical assets, but not just equipment, but also your financial assets, your technology, your intellectual property, really with brand and brand equity, but also people. Human capital is probably the one resource that can have the biggest impact on your organization. Network is really about the human, social, and professional connections that an individual has. But also a business via affiliation with that individual and other individuals can also relate to reputation and brand recognition, and it creates association affiliation. So your network can be both an individual network, but you can also have associations and affiliations for your business. Now, how you leverage those assets makes the difference between success and failure, and planning and measuring how you leverage them really allows you to maximize their value, really increasing the chances of success. So from a definition standpoint, leverage is really about the power to accomplish something or to gain strategic advantage through the utilization of your resources. And the other definition is the use made by a company of its limited assets to achieve its goals. And that can be taking advantage of your strategic advantage, of any of the individual resources that you may have, or a combination of all of them. The next one is alignment, and I pull this graphic up because really, from an explanation standpoint, if this is how you align your resources within your organization, depending on what your goal is nothing's going to go anywhere, because you can't, everybody's fighting against everything, your resources are fighting against themselves, and you're really not gaining any power or any strategic advantage or any leverage from your resources. So really, alignment is talking about how you're going to get your resources organized and correlated to make sure that they're all pulling in the same direction. And when it comes to planning, really alignment is about making sure that everyone in your organization, everything in your organization understands where you're going, and that they're all driving in the same direction, so that you're not looking like this graphic as I've got up here. So from a definition standpoint, again, what we're talking about is the proper adjustment of resources for coordinated function, but also it's really a state of agreement or cooperation among people, groups, and or departments with a common cause. Again, with a plan, if everybody understands where you're going, you're going to have a much higher likelihood of creating that agreement, or that agreement of cooperation, to get people to go where you want them to go. The final one is navigation, and really navigation, the next image is really going to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. But when you create the vision for your business, you're really defining the destination of where you want it to go. So the idea of navigating your business to achieve your vision, although it's kind of a simple analogy, it's still pretty appropriate. So by planning, in essence, you really are creating kind of a GPS for your business. So, I mean, look, nobody likes to get lost. Nobody really likes not knowing where they're headed, especially when it comes to their business. A plan really helps you understand where you're going, how you're going to get there. It measures your progress along the way to make sure that, if you're using an ETA, an estimated time of arrival, that it's still achievable. Or maybe you're running ahead of schedule and you're going to be able to do more, you're going to be able to go farther, or perhaps you can even rest your resources, you can slow down a little bit and still achieve your goals. So by utilizing navigation, by thinking of navigation as a GPS for your business through a plan, you can really understand where you're taking your business, what's coming ahead to some degree. Now, obviously, the one thing that's constant in business is change, and you've heard me say that if you've listened to my stuff in the past, that the one constant in change, or the one constant in business, is change. Having a plan allows you to deal with change more effectively. So, taking the GPS analogy, really planning out where it's going to go, understanding, and if something happens, on your way, on your path, you need to change direction, a plan is going to allow you to create an alternate route. So from a definition standpoint, navigation is really about plotting and controlling the course or direction, but it's also about carefully and safely finding your way among seen and unseen obstacles. So by having a plan for your business and leveraging your resources and creating alignment and gaining perspective and understanding how that all can go together, when it comes to a plan, it's going to give you the opportunity to actually have a sign that's like this, so that if you are racing down that road, something's going to be able to say, danger, wrong way, turn back. And that's really why you need to have a plan for your business. It allows you to have this sign in your business in case you are going the wrong way, by measuring and aligning your resources, or finding out that your resources aren't aligned. You're going to have this sign right in front of you. So again, just to kind of wrap it up, again, when you're doing your plan, what do you gain? You gain perspective, you gain leverage, you gain alignment, and you gain the opportunity for navigation. So I hope that explains why you need to have a plan a little bit better, and I look forward to hearing your success stories. Thanks.
So that's it. That kind of explains the acronym that we've created for PLAN and some of the benefits that you'll get for it. So again, the acronym stands for perspective, leverage, alignment, and navigation. And having a plan really helps you take advantage of and deal with change in your business. Now, down in Phoenix, I'll be presenting What's Your Plan, where we're actually going to run through a process for creating a real simple plan for your business and actually being able to get it on a single page. Now, I really look forward to meeting all of you in Phoenix, and we'll see you down there in March. Thanks.